Okay, what is your name?
Gloria Perrier.
Okay, and from what I understand, you have been a manager of this complex for 7 years. Am I correct on that?
Incorrect.
Or is that right or wrong?
Wrong.
How long have you been a manager here?
I've been a tenant, groundskeeper.
Oh, groundskeeper. Pardon me. Okay, all right, but okay, for 7 years. I apologize on that. Okay.
I help take care of the grounds.
Yeah. Okay, now I'd like to know something. Uh, from what I understand, you told me how many cop cars came to try to get you to open up a tenant's door?
I believe there's only one. There were three police cars in the parking lot talking to you.
Okay, there's three cops in the
Three
parking.
police cars.
Okay, all right, okay. And what did they want you to do?
They just came and asked me if, I believe they asked me if I could open the door for them. You were inside talking to them for about a while, 20, 30 minutes.
And what time of the day was this?
I don't know exactly. It's early evening, early afternoon, 5:30, 6 o'clock, something like that.
All right, okay.
I'm not
Now,
sure for time.
right now, have you had any problems out of this tenant
Yourself?
where you felt like you had to call the cops?
On you? No.
Okay, now in the past, have you had to call cops on tenants?
Other tenants, yes.
Okay, now, do you recall, it was about 2013, when there was a super loud car stereo that was going down the road? You remember that?
There were a lot of cars going on the road for backed up traffic.
But there was one super loud one, and I was on the phone to the sheriff's department, right?
You called the police, I believe. About
Right,
the noise.
right. And you was there, you was in your home that was not demolished by a car about a year ago, right?
Yes.
And I was sitting with you talking to you, and you on the phone, you backed me up by saying yes, there was a super loud car stereo. You remember that?
Yes, there was a lot of cars in the backup. Some people listening loud music, some not.
So what you're saying is you've heard many super loud car stereos going up,
Yes.
up and down the road on 15th Street.
Yes, some people listen to louder music than others. Ouch, elbow hurts.
Okay, now you told me about a situation where they wanted to. You called the cops about a situation, and the cops said they couldn't do anything about it. Could you go into details about that?
A tenant here had some lady coming back from the store with him or whatever, following him to his apartment. And she had been basically told she didn't need to be on the property, she didn't live here. And she knew the feelings, but I talked to the gentleman about it, and I called the police about it. And he said he didn't want her to come in, she just followed him in the place. I said, you could have put her out, but I called the police about it, and they basically told me, knocked on my door, and the police told me that as long as a person is in their apartment, there's nothing they can do about it. When that person closes that door, they can't tell them they can't be there. I don't understand that.
So in other words, what you're saying is you had
I didn't have the right to force somebody.
you had a safety concern though, right? That's why you called the cops, right?
I just wanted to tell the lady she really wasn't allowed on the property, but it's not been served papers refusing to be on the property. You have to draw papers. I didn't know those things. I just saw an officer who say, you need to go.
Oh, so in other words, you had to draw papers, but at the same time, you felt like there was a safety concern for you to call the cops. Am I correct on that?
No, not a safety, but I didn't know my rights. You know, I don't have the authority to kick somebody out of somebody's apartment.
So what you're saying is the cops, they educated you, and then you turned that education around on this Sergeant Stryker of the Panama City Police Department, right?
I didn't know the officer's name, but they'd been talking to you for a long time, and apparently you wouldn't open the door for the police to come in, and they came and talked to me, and I told them repeatedly what they told me. If a person's behind closed doors, if they want them to leave, they have to go get a order to bring you out for arrest or whatever.
So let me ask you
They
something.
can't force you out of your apartment without a court order, or judge order.
So in other words, you've even told me about the facts are that you don't sleep near as well here because of them loud car stereos going down the road compared to at Mississippi. Am I correct on that?
Loud traffic.
Okay.
Not
So,
automobile accident, you know, it's 45 mile an hour traffic. You have to keep your windows closed.
right.
Your TV on to have silence. It's natural, it's close to a road.
But see, here's the thing, okay? There used to be hundreds, if not, I'm not correct, hundreds of boom cars that went up and down the road.
There's always cars playing music louder than others.
But the thing is these boom cars, now that they no longer are nowhere near as many of them, the traffic doesn't bother me one bit. As a matter of fact, it's kind of soothing. It's kind of like a white noise. It's kind of like the same thing as if, you know, as if it's the ocean waves coming in. It doesn't bother me one bit. It's very soothing.
The loud music has gotten better.
Right. Since I've been calling the dispatchers. Now, would you say that if a person reports a crime, should they have that right to do that?
Report a crime? I don't know all crimes. The only thing I call an officer is out of complete fear, or a stranger you've never seen standing around and ducking and hiding or something. So I've only been really frightened maybe once or twice in the 7 years I've been here.
Right, but in other words, if you just saw somebody in other words, for you to call the cops, you had to feel an element of fear. Am I correct on that?
Oh, anytime, yes.
Right. You was unsure of the situation, right?
Yes, I just knew the noise bothered you. You know.
I talked to somebody else who had to move from the apartment number 4 because the sound of the low frequency boom cars was affecting them so bad. I will not reveal their name because they did not give me permission to. But I can understand how a lot of people, they feel like nothing can get done, especially when you see a super loud car stereo and a cop riding side by side and they ain't doing anything about it. When you say that sends out the message, what's the use in calling in the first place, right?
I don't know what the law is on how loud somebody can play the music.
Okay, the law...
I will say, in my opinion, the gentleman you spoke to was by himself with his windows up, and for some reason his noise seemed to bother you, and you went out to ask him to turn his music down.
I went so far as to put him on YouTube.
Yes, but the car would have been going with the traffic. He would have gone away.
It was here's the thing. Do you think it's right for anybody to even slightly irritate you?
I don't believe that someone should be going out in the middle of traffic and trying to get somebody to do their things. You should ask someone else with authority to do that, not to have a stranger come up and try to tell me I should shut my music down. Let somebody else handle it legally instead of facing somebody that doesn't know you.
So in other words, Ann, you agree that for me calling the dispatchers to try to get something done about it is a safer way than me going up on a total stranger. Am I correct on that?
That's correct, because I wouldn't want a stranger coming up to me either.
I can understand that. So would you feel I was in my rights to call the dispatcher no matter how many times these boom cars are going up and down the road?
If you want to complain, you have a right to complain about things. That's what our rights are, to say, is this is really a problem? Whether somebody's speeding down the highway or kids playing in the middle of the highway and putting themselves in danger, you're trying to protect people.
There's somebody named Tina Alliston that I saw in the News Herald. She has been complaining so many times that she lost count because of the speeding on I think it's 8th Street and Oak Avenue in Panama City, Florida. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm wondering, are they going to file charges against Tina Alliston, or is it because she happens to be a well-to-do homeowner that they will not call the cops on her?
I don't know that case you're asking about.
Uh-huh.
I don't know names and stuff like that.
Okay, so would you say that cop, was it necessary to have 3 cop cars out to only to look into a problem?
I did not know what they were here to discuss with you.
Mm-hmm. Now, would they normally, if somebody did not have a, a history of violence, would they need 3 cop cars there?
I have no idea what they would.
Or is that an indication they're not needed in the first place, and that they're way overstaffed in the first place, and the money could be used for the library or something like that?
I have nothing to understand about why they would have. I've seen 1, 2, but usually always 2, sometimes 3, to see if they're needed to help back up and make someone safe.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm not correct, today is what?
What's it, 16th? 15th, 16th of January?
January 15th,
2015.
2015.
Yes,
So now I am facing charges because of this idiot clown, Sergeant Stryker.
I didn't see anything that you're in charge with anything other than you can be there and appear in court of a complaint you made.
No, I've got charges on me right now. I looked it up.
I thought I just said if you did not appear in court to discuss this problem.
Well, I highly suspect they may be trying to get me into the courthouse and then have me arrested there. But I look at it this way. I haven't done anything wrong. I have nothing to fear. I'll go down to the courthouse every time that I have ever been summoned to go to the courthouse. I have yet to not show up. Even though it's going to be very hard on me, I got to get down there about 8:30 in the morning. I have a hard time sleeping because of these boom cars that have just totally messed up my sleeping habits. To where, and did you not tell me here, you don't sleep near as well as you do in your home in Mississippi? Am I correct on that, Ann?
Well, that's out in the country away from a main highway.
Right. Now, these boom cars, if there's cops on the road 24 hours a day, what's their excuse for not getting every one of these punks?
I don't know what the law is on music.
Okay, here.
Big old speakers in the back seats. I don't know.
Yeah, why would they have the speakers in the trunks and back seats? How can they hear? How can they hear the so-called music if they got the speakers facing outwards?
Most of them probably couldn't even hear a police car pulling an ambulance when I was behind them.
Thank you very much. That's right. So they put the ambulance fire department people in danger. And the felonies these boom cars are, first of all, the Florida Constitution, Article 2, Section 7 of the Florida Constitution says unnecessary noise will not be tolerated. Anybody who votes in the state of Florida swears that they will uphold the Florida Constitution.
I don't know those laws.
Well, 80610 is interference with emergency vehicles. That's a felony. 874 is criminal gang signaling instrumentalities. There's so many felonies. 3015 of Florida statutes, it's the duty of the sheriff to arrest these punks that are going up and down the road. So in other words, there are so many felonies. 876 of the Florida statutes called American Terrorist Act, Florida Terrorist Act. But no matter how many laws I look up, they can take away their vehicle under 932 contraband. And so I guess they're too busy messing with street people that are quietly drinking beers, because I've witnessed them terrorize homeless people. But when it comes to the rich people, and then on top of that, you'll notice that the tags in the state of Florida are only on the back, they're not on the front. And then they have these, what are called, these tags where they will take, and they will make the numbers even smaller, so it's called a vanity tag, where they will put designs on there to make the tags even smaller. What do you think about that?
I have no idea.
Okay.
You're asking about a noise.